nobody's going to know what that is.
No.
Or they're going to think it's something else.
Yeah, they're going to think it's something else. It's Founders All Day IPA Session Ale, which is pretty good. Hey, do you guys know why cows don't have feet? They have hooves. Any idea? We like to do dad jokes too, by the way. That's what this is.
Yeah, I don't have a clue.
I mean, maybe practically it's not a joke answer, but so that when they step in their own poop, it comes off easy.
I like that. That might be better than the actual punchline here. It's because they lactose.
Oh, that's rough. That's rough.
Hey, so it's Friday night. We are back at Guru Bikes
Ooh.
with our new co-host, Dane.
Yep, that's me, Dane.
And we have we're not allowed to say special anymore. I guess we said special too much. That's the shop dog in the back, by the way. You might hear we got 2 shop dogs running around.
Okay.
So you might hear them barking. And that's totally cool. But we have a esteemed guest with us.
Ooh, esteemed.
Esteemed. Would you like to, we got to stop saying special, so we're looking for new synonyms.
Oh, I got you. I was trying to figure out how special was being used.
We
but
keep
now
saying
I get
special guest, special guest, special
Okay,
guest. But,
gotcha.
so we want to give everyone a new
Esteemed.
Esteemed.
Yes.
Yeah, their own adjective.
New guest.
New guest. We have a new guest.
Recurring
guest.
Or,
Yeah.
So
Would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Sure. My name's Tyler Vandruff, and I'm Dane's partner here at the bike shop.
Right on.
While he specializes in the shocks and forks, I specialize in bike fitting.
Right on.
Triathlon, road, and mountain.
yes.
Triathlon, road, and mountain, and that's one of the things we want to get into today is bike fits. You know, we had Frank the fitter on a few episodes back, and you know, one of the things Frank talked about is how every fitter has a different philosophy. Not only because you're Dane's partner, but we want to hear more about different philosophies for bike fitting because we're in this podcast addicted to bike fits at the moment. Hey, you guys have known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
How'd you guys meet?
At the bike shop.
Yeah.
Right on.
Show. Yeah.
Which shop?
Full cycle.
Full cycle.
Yep.
Right,
Yeah.
back in the day.
Local legend shop in Tucson.
What year? That was like what, in the 80s or what year was that?
Thanks, man. It's not like I feel old or anything. So, God, I don't even know.
90s. Late?
Late 90s. I'm trying to think.
Ish?
It's 2000s. It was the 2000s because man, I don't know.
You know you're getting old when you're messing up decades.
Yeah,
You know?
serious.
Here's the way to do it.
You know you're getting old when you see your classmate and he's a grandfather.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
That's
What bikes were we selling?
there.
Yeah. So my point is, what was the year of those bikes? You'd probably remember that better than anything.
So the first one popped is Serrata, and they're custom, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So
Lamar.
and Mavericks, remember their Mavericks? I remember we sold 2 Mavericks, and we dented.
Maverick had that inverted fork on some of their bikes. Didn't
Yeah,
they?
and they had that weird.
Or maybe the Maverick was the fork on the Trek on the 69.
Well, so same company.
Is it the same
Yeah,
company?
but they had
Okay.
their own bike, and they made a rear suspension that looked like a fork. It was in the middle of the frame.
Oh, wow.
And later Klein didn't patent it, but they licensed it and used it on some of the Klein bikes.
Did that
So
suspension work?
it
well?
was pretty decent. It was goofy and weird, and didn't really get adopted.
Okay.
And so I would love to have one actually to hang it on the wall.
Yeah, you guys have
Yeah.
you guys have like a bike museum started in here, man, with all the different bikes. He showed me one of the other Proflexes you got in the back.
Oh yeah, with
super-
the red fork.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun to look at now. One of my favorite bikes was one of the first full suspension Treks, and they had these elastomers that looked like donuts.
Okay.
And so in the rear shock looked like a stack of donuts,
Right.
you know, and it was single beam. Worst riding bike I've ever ridden in my life. It was awful. And, but it just looked cool. And it's one of those things that you just connect with when you were a kid. Like Tyler's all into the Nishiki that we have, the Alien, and
Yeah, he was telling me about it actually.
Yeah.
We talked about that one.
we're on the hood. By the way, if anyone has a mountain bike action with a Nishiki Alien on the front, let me know because we want one.
Ooh, I might actually.
Ooh,
let me go
see?
back through the
See?
archives.
That's
and see.
That's
Yeah.
what convinced me I wanted
Yeah.
that bike. I was a kid and I saw it and I was like, oh my God, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And of course I had no money at the time.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to be able to afford that bike.
All right, so you guys met either in the 90s or in 2000s at Full Cycle.
Yeah, I was early.
And you guys have been friends ever since.
Yeah, he was the best man at my wedding.
Really?
Yeah.
I introduced him to his wife.
Yeah, actually,
Wow.
yeah, I wouldn't have met my wife without Tyler. So yeah,
Wow, super cool.
yeah,
We've
we
been
kind of
through it.
fought about it. So
did you guys fight over her, or?
So the story goes, and I'll just make it really quick.
Oh, that's fine.
But the story is, I saw this girl at this party. It was Tyler's party. He threw the best parties, and I was like, "Oh, she's cute." So I told Tyler, I go, "Hey, what's up with her?" And he's like, "I already got her number."
So you did fight over her.
Yeah. And then later, I got to actually, meet her.
You won.
And I won. I ended up winning. He says he concedes.
I took him with me on my second date. Who does that?
Yeah.
You took Dane with you on your second date?
Because on the first date, I was like, I think these two guys would be a little better match.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so then I had them sit next to each other, and I sat a little farther down, kind of.
So that's like the ultimate Cupid move right there.
Oh, yeah.
To take someone on a date with you and say, I think you're a better match with this guy than me.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't tell either of them.
No. We didn't know, but we just hit it off. So, yeah.
Does she know now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
She has a slightly different version, which I feel like always happens.
Yeah.
And so
my wife does too.
So if she listens to this, she'll give me a earful, but truthfully, that is pretty much it.
That's how it went down.
So at Bison Witches.
Bison, God,
that's right.
Is it still around?
I think so.
Yeah?
God, I haven't been there. Dude, I love that place.
I know. It's great. I'm not a sandwich guy.
We used to
and I
get
like
soup
that.
in there. And
in the bowl.
In the bread bowls.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's been years. That was a good hangover cure. Yeah, definitely. Bison Witches.
So you see these tangents we were talking about?
Yeah, I'm getting it.
At some point, we'll get back to the fitting.
Yeah. It was funny. We were talking. One of the feedbacks we got early on was from my cousin in Detroit. And we were running this little promotion, like, what's it like to be on the Mountain Cock podcast? Mm-hmm. And then people make fun of us. In response. And so we would ask our guests. And so you can go out to YouTube and there's probably 30 or 40 videos of people our guests making fun of us.
That's awesome.
And my cousin was like, yeah, it's a good podcast. I'm just wondering when they're going to start talking about mountain bikes. It's so true. All right. So you guys met a long time ago, known each other forever, best man in the wedding, and you ended up starting a company together.
Yep. Yeah.
So how did that come to fruition?
We've been working together in bike shops for a while.
Right.
And
you're like, screw this, we can do it better than these guys.
Well, I think
a little bit.
I think, there's a little bit of that. There's also sometimes when you're in business, you want to go a certain direction and you can't in one form and you can in another. And we had similar views and visions and we wanted to go that direction. Yeah. And it just fit.
It was also great that we had very complementary skills as far as being able to help folks in the bike community. From a mechanic standpoint, right? What he does, rebuilding forks and shocks, my fitting. So we're not duplicates; we're complementary, and so we get a fuller picture. So
how do you guys manage the conflict?
We fist fight in the back. Usually
they both have black eyes right now.
It depends on
actually,
the time.
Look at this thumb.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a strong thumb for thumb wars.
Thumb wars.
Oh, yes. Thumb wars.
Pretty good.
Sometimes it's naked fighting. I'm just going to say
Greco-Roman.
It's got to be the right weather.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. So. You ever seen any Gladiator movies?
I have, yeah. That's basically, these guys are cut too. You should see them. This is exactly what I thought it was going to be.
One of the cool things, just going back to conflict, that's so important in a partnership is just like a relationship as well.
Yeah.
Mutual respect. Yeah. Knowing that that you're going to get frustrated, but that communication's always there.
Yeah.
And that we're always going to talk about things and there's no like, nope, just my way. Screw you.
Yeah. Yep.
So and it's like a marriage, right? It's a negotiate, or you're constantly compromising this time, so the next time they compromise, and you just kind of keep like a mental chit, and as long as it's pretty balanced,
right.
Then it works out.
I think that's well
partnership.
Put.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So we're going to talk to Tyler today.
Okay,
and Tyler, I'm interested. How did you get into bike fitting?
Well, going all the way back. So I was very fortunate that our neighbor growing up when I was in grade school, 6th grade, he was a cyclist, and he was always kind of encouraging me. He'd always be working on things in his garage, and I'd come over and see what it was about. And I took an interest in his bike.
Right.
And I think it was like the next year, he's like, talked to my mom and they bought it from him. He gave him a smoking deal so that I could have the bike.
That's awesome.
But then he also said how important a bike fit was. So
wait, so your like first introduction to cycling, the first bike you got, the guy that told you about it, or the guy you bought it from, effectively your family bought it from, said you need to get a bike fit.
Yep.
Wow. And it took me 25 years before someone told me that.
I know.
My first bike was a BMX bike. I had that forever. That was, where I got started mountain biking, learned to do drops, to flat and all that fun stuff, wall riding. But as far as bike fit, we went to this place in Santa Ana, Southern California. It was a well-known, established bike shop that had a good fitter. And I remember just really focusing on what he was saying and what he was doing and talking about the angle of my feet and how the shoes should fit and where the cleats should be in the proper position and yada, yada. And I rode that bike forever. It's an old Cannondale. I've seen similar bikes. They're, as Dane said about the old mountain bike, it was a pretty terrible bike by modern standards.
They all were terrible.
But it was an awesome bike for the time. It wasn't steel. It was like one of the early oversized aluminum, bikes.
Right.
And
Cannondale maybe they still make good bikes, but they made good bikes back in the day.
Yeah, they've always been. You know what I like about Cannondales? They're really separate themselves. They just don't do what everybody does. They do their own thing. Yep, the lefty. They were one of the first with the oversized aluminum.
Yep.
Pepperoni forks. Did you have that? Was it a mountain bike?
Yep.
Yeah. So pepperoni forks.
What is that?
Headshot.
What's a pepperoni?
It was
fork?
like this oversized aluminum bladed fork. Rigid.
That just had some compliance to it.
It was how it looked, honestly. I think they just wanted to use aluminum as kind of their trade.
Right.
And they're just gone their own way on everything.
Always thought outside the box.
Yeah, they made motorcycles. They make quads.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I knew that story.
Kind of killed them.
Yeah. They got a little out of their depth.
Yeah. That was kind of a dumb. But
they're still around, right?
They're still out there.
Yeah.
They're a new entity. Like there's new ownerships and things like that, and that happens to a lot of bikes in the bike industry, though.
Yeah, it's going to happen a lot more this year.
Yeah, but some just go away, but some get bought and some get.
If the name's got
rethought.
value, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The Cannondale name's got value.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. We kind of joke around with Cannondale. They're still in bike shops, so they're one of the ones that this particular company at first bought.
Right,
and that company was despised for buying a bunch of brands and then putting them in Walmarts. So that company is why there are Mongoose bikes and Schwinn bikes in Walmart.
They're not about the quality. They're about the
now
dollar.
Cannondale, that company owned, and GT, and they kept those bikes in the bike shops, and so they, that was respectable, and so to this day, Cannondale and GT to an extent are still pretty high end nice stuff, but you're not going to get a Mongoose in a bike shop.
It's going to be interesting to see, Walmart and then the family, right? That's Bentonville, Arkansas.
Yep.
I mean, it's their money that's really catalyzed that. And it was, I keep expecting to see high end bikes show up in Walmart at some point.
So they're trying, and they do it from time to time. I think they had like $1,000 or $1,500 carbon hardtail.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know how many years ago that is.
Okay.
And, as you can tell from earlier, my memory on what year stuff happened isn't that great. But and then the Walmart brothers, I think they're the younger guys are. I think they bought Rafa.
Okay.
And they I think they do Allied. I have to double check that, but and so they're into it. They've spent a ton of money in Bentonville building those trails and kind of integrating, cycling into that whole community.
That community,
It's really cool what they've done. At the same time, they produce some of the most
crappy bikes,
heinous bikes. Yeah.
Or at least carry them.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, it's at some point it's about dollars and cents, right? And then who their demographic is, and that's probably the price point that most of their customers are comfortable spending.
And I shouldn't be such a snob,
No, we all started on Walmart
there's a
bikes.
point
I mean,
where
most of us did anyways, right?
Exactly. Well,
except for my kids, they did not.
Oh yeah, mine.
I'm sure yours don't either.
No, mine didn't either. Yeah, no, sorry. But I used to tell people like, it doesn't. Honestly, you can take a Walmart bike, take it to a shop and have it assembled correctly.
Yeah.
No joke. I mean, that's a legit thing, and have it maintained, and it actually will last you a while.
Yeah.
But what happens is that doesn't happen. They get assembled poorly and quickly deteriorate.
Yeah.
And then the parts are so much more expensive to buy to replace on that
In
bike.
some cases, you just buy a new bike.
You just buy a new bike. Exactly. You can't buy a derailleur for I mean, like I think it's a wheel. So the biggest thing we'd see at the U of A when we were fixing bikes is the rear wheel, the axle would break.
Right.
A new rear wheel for that bike is $45. It's not a big deal, but the bike sold for $89. You know, and by the time I add labor, a tire, and whatever else,
you're asking for more than $89.
Exactly. Yeah, and
he's like, I'll just go buy another one. Thanks.
You couldn't do it. Yeah. So they have their place.
So we again. Awesome rabbit hole that we've found our way down. We'll come back to the question that I asked you is how you got into bike fits, and you were telling us about your first bike, your first real bike, and the guy you got it from, said, hey, you need to get a bike fit.
Yep. And it made a big difference. And then I had other friends that were cycling, and they'd kind of see that I was maybe a little more powerful or a little more comfortable, and they'd kind of ask about it.
Right.
And
so you've been spreading the gospel since the beginning.
Well, a bit. Where I saw it being done well was actually back at Full Cycle. One of the guys, our fitter at that shop was Maxim.
Okay.
And I don't
legend.
know. I don't know if he's still around town, but I always watched him. I don't think he noticed that I was kind of watching
it, studying everything he was doing, taking notes on the sides.
But I always thought it was so cool that he got to spend so much time with any one person and really kind of help them out, make them feel comfortable on the bike. At the end of the day, it's not about selling a fit. It's not about anything except for making that person feel as good as they can on either the bike that they already have or the one that we're selling them.
Right.
So that they're getting the best experience they can possibly have, whether it's power, comfort, dealing with injuries, whatever else it might be. And it was, so those were my influences. Then I had a couple other careers. I was a geologist.
Right.
Then I was a junior high and high school science teacher.
Oh, you're all over the place now.
Yeah, I did. I did that out in Hawaii for a few years. Then I moved to Southern Oregon and did some environmental engineering work. And then I was caregiver for my pop. And after my dad passed, sadly, I was pre-PT at that time. I'd gone back to school to become a physical therapist because I'd had good friends that were doing it, and they were always so happy. And it's kind of like bike fitting.
Right.
You're really helping people become better and happier and stronger.
Yeah.
And anyhow,
so you're like a Renaissance man. He was telling me about his hobbies earlier, and like, I don't ride as much because I got so many more hobbies. I've got the same problem. And now I hear your career background. Yeah, it makes sense.
Sailing, scuba, all these things. But Dane reached out to me and he said, dude, you always were so happy at the bike shop. Why don't you come? At the time he was at Trek.
Right.
And said, you should come and work with me again.
And this is when you were pre-PT.
Pre-PT. I was still working in the physical therapy clinics.
Right.
And doing all the pre-PT coursework. And I loved it. But then the thought of going back to school again, getting another degree as a PT tech, boy, you PT techs out there, I feel for you. These people, it's necessary that they complete this work
because
to become
that's
PT.
That's where you get the experience, right?
They don't pay them at all. It's like slave labor. I was making more in the bike shop.
Yeah. And that's not saying much.
No, it's not. We talked about that last time, right?
Yeah.
Nobody makes money in the bike industry.
No, it's a passion.
It is. It's a passion and a love.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so I got that background and experience, started working with Dane in the shops, and then started working over at the last shop that we were at.
Right.
And moved into a fitting role right away because I said, hey, I can kind of do this. I fit other friends in other places, and then got some good instruction. Went online, read a lot of articles. I've got a couple books here. Andy Pruitt, who's like one of the just anchors of
Godfathers.
Godfathers of fitting. Phil Burt, second edition Bike Fit I have here in front of me. Really good bits of literature, and then I used my physical therapy understanding.
Yeah.
And then, talk to, and, I've been watching cyclists my whole life.
Right.
On top of that, being empathetic and like you, and we talked about this a little bit, being sort of a tweaker, always thinking, how can I make it better? How can I do this? Adjusting here and there. I've always done that on my road bikes, my mountain bikes, my triathlon bikes.
Yep.
And that's sort of how I got into it. I just started doing it more and more. I fit pros. I fit people that ride daily
Casually,
just to get to work. Old people that are just trying to stay on their bikes and can barely keep their balance anymore. And there's a solution for everybody that kind of optimizes their happiness on the bike, which is really cool.
So when you, and I've got a whole list of questions, but when you guys sell someone a bike, do you fit them first to figure out what size? I mean, you can kind of, how do you do that?
If we have to order the bike,
Yep.
Then yes, we'll find something else that's really close.
Yeah.
There are these fit bikes that some of the shops have, which look really fancy. I've never cared for them too much because I've always thought there's a little bit lost. People that are really good with them, awesome. You know, it's a great tool.
Yep.
In many cases, there's a bit lost in translation, I think. And so I prefer to use an actual bike. Their old bike is great. And then we can measure top tube and saddle height and all these things and really figure out exactly what's going to work best for them. And they've changed a lot in recent years. We have a couple brands here where they're coming with stems that are 20 millimeters, 30 millimeters longer than they used to just a few years ago.
Really? So you're getting like 50, 60 millimeter stems on mountain bikes, or are you talking road bikes?
Well,
road bikes.
This is
road
more
bikes.
road bikes. Yeah. I've always ridden a 58 now on this.
Mountain bikes are the opposite.
Yeah.
They're getting smaller and smaller is what I thought.
Yeah.
So the road ones are getting longer in some cases.
In some cases, yeah. Like on the Scots, I haven't ridden a 56 comfortably in years, but now I'm on one.
Yeah.
And
What's the stem length then on that? Is
120.
120.
Yeah.
That's what's causing that? What's the trend there?
Geometry shifts. So
and it's a race. You know, they're trying to put their race fit to it. It's a race bike.
So does that get you like stretched out more basically?
Longer and lower.
Yeah. Interesting. Huh. Okay. So walk me through like what a normal fit is. Well, first of all, you run a fit business out of Guru Bikes here is kind of my understanding.
Yep.
Do I have that right?
Yep. What's
your fit business called?
Vandruff Fit Solutions, but it's basically Guru Bikes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a separate LLC, but it
doesn't matter.
It's
all the
shop.
same. Yeah. Come into Guru and you get the fit.
Yeah.
What are the different levels of fits that you offer?
3 different levels of fit. Okay. So with the purchase of a regular bike, you're going to get a free fit, just like any other shop. Now,
wait, is that true? I don't think that's true. Just like any other shop.
It should be.
Well, it should be. I agree with you, but it's not.
It doesn't always happen, and it's not always the same level of fit.
Right.
I mean, so imagine you get a free fit from me. You know, I fit bikes, but it's been a long time, and I can fit you on a bike. But I'm going to adjust your seat height. I'm going to adjust your seat fore and aft, and I'm going to probably give you suggestions on the stem and get you seated on the bike. That's separate. You know, that's pretty much what our free fit is and what most shops do. Mm-hmm. And that's a good fit, you know, getting you comfortable on the bike, and it's a starting point.
Okay.
But then, you know, a lot of shops, that's their only option. And they don't actually, because they don't have the expertise, they may kind of just
wing it.
Well, they'll wing it
sometimes.
Yeah. Or they'll downplay the need. Which is probably why it took you so long.
Years.
Yeah,
and exactly. I probably bought 50 bikes, right?
Exactly.
No one's ever said, get a bike fit to me.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And that happens. Whenever you're not really super knowledgeable on something, you tend to downplay its importance.
Yeah.
Once you know about it, then you're like, oh my God, I had no idea this was so good.
Yeah. This is why we've had 2 fitters on in 3 weeks.
Exactly.
3 episodes, right? Because I'm like, everybody needs to know about this.
So yeah, that's the basic. And then I'll let Tyler finish.
Yeah. Keep going.
Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. So our mid-level fit, what I do that a lot of other fitters don't do, but I think it's important, especially with mountain bike fits, is I guarantee the fit for 2 months. So for 2 months, you can come back to me and say, hey, Ty, my hands still hurt. Or can we try a different seat? Or, you know, whatever it is. There's no extra charge. I'll put them up there. On top of that, a lot of people come in here and make fun of me and say, oh, do you give massages? Like, do I get a happy hand?
And that's because there's a massage table in your fit area.
I was wondering, I thought maybe that's where you guys did your wrestling or something.
So exactly that. Yeah. So yeah.
You know, some nights when I work late, I can sleep there.
Yeah.
But no, it's because there are some fundamental exercises and stretches that I can put somebody through to gauge, you know, hip flexibility and hamstring tightness.
So that's bringing the PT stuff in. So you're using your skills, your knowledge of PTs.
And leg length,
right?
Which is a big one, right?
Yep.
We'll do a walking gait analysis, forward flexing, sort of touching the toes,
right?
Working with the arms. There's a full physical assessment that I do before the fit. Once again, this isn't part of our basic fit. This is our mid-level fit.
Mid-level fit.
Yep.
And then once we go through all the physical stuff, it includes a cleat fit. So I'm going to figure out where their 1st and 5th metatarsal is, figure out the center spot of that, and then talk about how they like to ride, what their goals are, take that into account. And then after having watched them walk, only then figure out exactly, where the cleats should be to start before I've even seen them on the bike. Okay. And then I might change things from there. Then I'll put them up on the bike and we'll start with the feet. Oh, and then, insoles. Big deal for a lot of people. It's amazing. If you buy a bike shoe,
right,
pull that little thing that you're standing on out of the center of the shoe. It's terrible. It's like a little piece of foam.
Yeah.
And it doesn't give you any support whatsoever. So having the bike fit is all about all of your contact points with the bike.
Yep.
So your feet,
hand, seat, and feet.
Hand, seat, and feet. And making sure that they're one in the right place, but then they also ergonomically fit you and support you correctly.
Right.
A number of people I see on too narrow a saddle. And I'll tell you this is something that I changed my opinion on a few years back. I didn't think it used to matter that much, the width of the saddle. And that's because we can always change the tilt of our hips.
Yep.
There's different flair to different saddles. And then after doing a bunch more reading and talking to a bunch of people, I thought, I should really give this a try. Since then, I've seen remarkable things as far as being able to fix knees or knee issues.
Right.
Lower back issues. Power issues. The number of people that I put on the stand after just seeing their seats and going, I think you might want to try this. People that are pros now.
Right.
One of which is like, no, this is good.
I know what I need.
I know what I need. This is great. I said, well, you know what? I've got this digital, we call it the digital assometer.
Okay.
And it does pressure mapping and just very, very accurately measures the sit bones. And, I found her a more comfortable seat and I set her right. And then, and right away I love fitting pros because or people that are really serious.
Yeah.
I love fitting every level of cyclists, but it's fun fitting pros and serious cyclists because they often have power meters. So I can go out right away and go, I'm putting out more watts.
More watts.
And I'm more comfortable.
Hey, what pressure map tool to use? What pressure sensor tool to use?
So it's a company called RETUL.
Okay.
And they were their own fitting company for years and years. They were recently bought out by Specialized.
Okay.
But they do a really good job of what's called a dynamic fit. And so, and this brings us back to, so that was the mid-level fit we were just talking about.
Yep.
I do use the pressure mapping tool for the mid-level fit.
Right.
But with the RETUL fit, I've got a 3D motion capture camera and LEDs that I place on your body, kind of like how they do the new movies.
Right. Like CGI movies or whatever.
CGI movies, yeah.
You see the green screen and the people with the stuff. Yeah.
So do I have to wear a green when I come in here?
No, you can wear, just don't wear lotion.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because I have to put little stickers on your body to keep them in place.
Yeah.
And oh man, they can be a bear to stay on.
I'm not a big lotion user, so we should be okay.
Okay, all right. In fact, when you come in, we'll do that.
Okay.
But what it does is it's called a dynamic fit because I can see all of your exact body angles while you're in motion.
Right.
So the downside to the static fit, which is the mid-level fit, is at some point I'm going to say, okay, stop pedaling. I want to measure you with the goniometer or with the plumb bob.
Yep.
And the plumb bob's another thing. We'll talk about that in a bit. But
we'll come back to goniometer too, so we can. I know what it is.
Goniometers.
You have one.
I bought one. Yeah.
It's kind of fun just to say goniometer.
It is. It took me like 5 minutes to figure out how to pronounce it. I'm like, good. Anyways.
But so with the 3D motion capture fit, I can see all those angles while you're in motion. Whenever you stop moving, I guarantee you're going to drop the level of your heels. I guarantee your hips are going to rock a little bit. Your body just changes. So it's not nearly as accurate as seeing somebody and capturing their body angles in motion.
Right.
So, and then just real quick, back to the plumb bob, because I'll forget to talk about it. We were at El Tour this year, and I was sitting there at the table and had some of my fitting things out, kind of showing off, hey, this is kind of what we do, and we take pride in this. And this guy walks by and he's like, do you use that? He's looking at the plumb bob.
Yeah.
And I said, I certainly do. And he laughed a little, he chuckled and he said, I'm a fitter. And it wasn't a harsh sort of thing, but he's like, you don't need to use that. And I said, I've read the current literature. I know that some people poo-poo it. Like a lot of the new guys say, no, it's an old term called COPS, knee over pedal spindle. And it's the measurement of where your knee sits in relation to the pedal spindle.
Okay.
And the old thinking was that it should stay above or behind it. And the new thinking is, it's okay just to let it go as far forward as possible. Well, in many cases, that's true, especially if you've got a lot of forward hip rotation. Mm-hmm. But It's the only way to accurately, if I can look at somebody and the way that they're sitting on the seat, it's the only way to accurately say, okay, well, this is the relationship to the pedal spindle, and know when you can get away with it and when you can't. So it's still an accurate tool. And we had this long talk about it. He said, I'm going to start using this thing.
and I think I know what this is. This is like you attach it to somewhere on the knee. It's a string and then something heavy at the bottom.
Yep.
And you basically just,
and just hang it down.
Just hang it down.
So you got a vertical
you're really
line.
looking at the 45-degree pedal. Is that right?
Yeah.
45-degree pedal front.
Pedal forward.
That's where you're really. I mean, are you looking at
90
the whole
degree.
90 degrees?
So you crank straight forward.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm losing my
That's
mind.
okay.
It's not
Yeah,
45.
pedal forward.
90
yeah,
degree.
pedal forward, horizontal.
Yep.
So.
Pedal forward. I had the right concept just to run.
Yeah,
over.
right.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
I always think of what I tell people. It's always pedal forward, horizontal, flat.
Yeah.
And then I always have to lift it up a little bit because they always go a little low.
Well, and that's the thing. When you stop pedaling, your heel always drops.
Yep.
For most people.
Yep. Yeah.
You stop pedaling, your heel always drops.
Yeah.
Because you relax. So you're not pushing on the balls of your foots anymore.
Yeah,
and so your foot
I
just kind
just
of
feel it.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of doing it in my head and
Yeah.
doing it on the ground here.
Well, not only that, but if you start fitting somebody who has had a seat that's way too low for way too long and they've gotten used to it, they'll naturally pedal with a low heel.
Yeah, just
and they
pedal.
won't even realize it because they're trying to get proper leg extension.
So they were too low, and so they're using their heel to make up for the fact that their seat's too low.
To compensate for it.
Interesting. Okay, so what are your price points for the fits?
1, 2, and 300. So the
1, 2,
basic
or
fits
300.
1,
Yep.
mid levels 2, and high ends 3.
And how long do they take?
1, 2, and 3 hours. Just about.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah. The basic fit often takes a little less, and it also depends on how much we need to do. I mean, a mid-level fit, which is what we do the most of,
Right.
can take, an hour and 15 if, I really don't need to adjust much.
Yep.
To 5 hours. Just given the fact that I give them the opportunity to come back as much as they need to.
Yes.
Sometimes even 6, because I've had some people that are really seat sensitive, and we have to go through 6 seats. And one of the things that I've done here and I've worked really hard at, because it's one of the primary things that bug a lot of people, is your seat.
Yeah.
And so you can look over here.
I did. You've got a lot of saddles up there.
Arguably, I think, more than any other shop in Tucson. I mean, I've spent
A lot of time. And
yeah,
you've picked those saddles specifically.
very
right?
specifically, yeah.
Right.
After-
Interesting.
Very, it's something I paid a lot of attention to after having fit thousands of people.
Right.
What works best for what sort of person, how much forward lean, does their pelvis have? The other thing that comes into the fit a lot is coaching, coaching proper form.
Right.
So you'll have these people sitting in the seat like they're riding a Harley and bending over with their backs to try and reach the bar.
Yeah.
And they're wondering why their lower back hurts and why their butt hurts and everything else.
Right.
And so to be able to coach that, say, hey, if you just rotate your hips a little bit and kind of get into that football or basketball, remember the ready position where you kind of, engage your core.
Yep.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah. The last fitter. So when Frank fit me, he had me, I was, like down on the hoods or whatever. And then he had me take my hands away, but keep my body position.
Yeah.
And
I
he's
heard that.
And he's like,
he's amazed.
He's like, oh, you actually have core strength. I was like, what? Fat guy can't have core strength. Thanks
I
a
may
lot,
not
man.
look like it, but
Right?
yeah, it's so true.
All right. And we're going all over the place, but like one of the things I really want to talk to you about, I kind of understand how it works on a road bike or a gravel bike. I want to talk about mountain bike fits.
Sure.
And like what's different about a mountain bike fit, and what are the things that you look for, or what are the things that you do differently in a mountain bike fit versus a road or a gravel or tri bike?
Sure. That's the fun thing about fitting. I mean, it's fun making people smile and happy, but the other fun thing is that it's dynamic. It's really, every person is completely different. And you'll find that, just talking around to people, there's some folks that just feel like one position is good for everybody.
Right.
That's the last sort of person you want to talk to, right? We're all different. We all have different amounts of muscle dominance. We all have different amounts of endurance,
Right.
flexibility, sensitivities to seats, whatever. Then on top of that, you've got the performance aspect. So when we're on a triathlon bike or a road bike, you're really going after performance. I mean, you want to make the person as comfortable as possible, but we're really not moving around much on that bike.
Mm-hmm.
Next step is gravel. Gravel bikes are awesome fits. They're so fun because everybody wants something different out of a gravel bike.
It's true.
Yeah, 'cause it's supposed to be a bike that can ride anywhere, right? Or for the most part.
Some people just want to ride them on the road.
Yep.
Some people want to ride them down in Patagonia and do all the dirt roads.
Yep.
I take mine out at Honeybee, and I'll ride single track.
Right.
All those fits are completely different. Well, they're not completely different, but they are different fits.
Right.
The more aggressive you're going to get, the slightly lower a seat you might have because you need to move over the bike a little bit, and the wider your handlebars should be because you need to have more leverage to control that front end.
Yep.
If you're just going to ride your bike on the road, a road bar's fine.
Just set it up like a road bike, basically.
Yeah. So they're very different, but at the same time, you're going to want the handlebars to be a little higher, right, on a gravel bike because you still need to be able to move over the bike a little more.
Yep.
So there's that. And then we get into mountain biking. And the reason there aren't a lot of mountain fitters is, one, I think fitters ignored mountain bikers. I did.
Yeah.
I was fitting mostly road and triathlon forever. Then I got on a buddy's bike, just on a fluke. He was riding the exact same bike I was, same size.
Set up differently.
And it blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, this thing, this feels amazing.
Right. Like, oh, wait, mountain bike fit does matter.
Oh yeah. And I should know better. But
yeah,
I just didn't. I was just the rest of the crowd.
Now.
Yeah. So this is years ago. And since then, I've really thought a lot about the different positions I've had. So I grew up racing cross country.
Yep.
Long time ago. Steep steer tubes.
Yep.
Narrow handlebars.
V brakes or canties?
V brakes, what, 1.25 tire?
Yeah. Oh,
1.25?
2.125.
2.125.
Okay,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still very narrow.
Yeah, still very narrow.
Smoke and dart sort of stuff.
Yep.
Then, raced more cross country through there. When I was first going to University of Arizona, I was part of their mountain club, and we'd go down to Hermosillo and race cross country. And
right on. I've heard about those races, actually. We've had a couple guys on the podcast
they were pretty fun.
Talked about those. Yeah.
Good times. And at the same time as that's when I was, it was prior to that I was racing downhill. So I got into downhill while I was still living in Southern California.
Right.
Raced Fontana and Big Bear and some of the other courses. Then by the time I got out here, that's when I met Dane. Dane was like, well, I downhill. I was like, all right, well, I downhill. And so we'd go up to Sunrise and go hit it and just have a blast. And it was great because we generally keep up with each other pretty well, which was a lot of fun. And so my point to bringing all that stuff up is just that I've got a really good understanding. And the whole time, by the way, that I was doing the downhill stuff, I'm raising my bars. I'm lowering my bars. I'm widening my bars. I'm changing my seat height, doing all that stuff.
You're doing a fit, basically.
I'm doing a fit. I'm trying to figure out what works best.
Right.
Now, granted, that's just what works best for me, but I'm talking to other people about it. So my point to all this is that I've got a good understanding of the different positions you could potentially be in for everything from old school 80s cross country, XC racing to downhill. And that's a huge swath, a huge bunch of different positions that you could be in.
You can't be in just one position.
No.
And
you're moving constantly while you're on the bike.
But, so let me can I interrupt you for a second?
Of course.
Okay? So you're a fitter that's ridden tri-bikes, road bikes, gravel bikes, cross country, all the way up to downhill. Mm-hmm. It's rare for someone to ride that many different styles.
Yeah. Like
bikes. So, and I don't think you can effectively fit unless you yourself have experienced that type of riding.
Yeah.
And so that, I think, at least to me, seems like that makes you uniquely qualified.
So
thank you.
Can I throw in a little story?
Sure.
Break up.
Yeah, good. I
was telling, I think I've told you this, and maybe Tyler this. I love stories, but I was working at a local shop, Fairwheel, and I had a good customer, Bill. I even know these guys' names, and this is a while ago. Nice,
twofer.
Man, that's a twist off top. I don't have that cool.
You want to open that Coke?
Well, you notice we all pop stuff when Dane gets into a story.
Oh yeah, because it might be a while. So I'll make it short.
No, it's okay. Go, just go.
So anyway, this guy I rode with, we rode enduro and upper 50, which is a trail in town, which is really demanding and techie, and so I know him, and he comes into the shop one day, and his bike has got like a 120 millimeter stem on it, and if you guys know mountain bikes, that's not normal. Even 10 or 15 years ago, that's still not
It's like
normal.
80 or 90.
20
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
A long
20
time
years
ago it was.
Yeah.
I can show you my old mountain bike.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm
But this
looking
is-
at some of them
We're
up on the
talking
wall
a
there.
160 millimeter fork on this bike.
Oh,
so
yeah.
there's
That's
no
way-
reason
yeah.
for it to
So
be like
did you
that.
hit the wrong size bike?
And I'm just like, what is going on? You need to change this. He's like, oh no, I just got a fitting by Norm Kimball, who is a famous, Tucson cyclist, and he worked at Fairwheel for a while, and he was doing stuff on the side. I have tremendous respect for him. He's a great guy and really knows what he's doing.
But not a mountain biker.
Just not a mountain biker. And sure enough, Bill goes out first time on his new fit, and I'm telling him, like, this is wrong. You're gonna die.
Your weight's going to be way too far over the front of this.
He flips over the bars and comes back, and we swap his stem out to
this
a
didn't work.
Yeah, and it's I have huge respect for the fitter that fit him. He knows what he's doing when it comes to road fitting.
Right.
But when he tackled a mountain fit, he took it to this. He used his road fitting and just duplicated it on a mountain bike, and that's not correct.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work at all. And that's one of the beauty things about Tyler, and that story kind of rings true, because you can take some of the best fitters in the world, but if they don't know what they're fitting for, if they're not into it and they don't understand it, they're not going to be the best.
Yeah.
They'll be the best at maybe road, but maybe not at mountain. And so it's really important that somebody has that wide depth of knowledge. So
and or age.
Yeah.
Not that I'm old yet. I mean, I did just.
You're pretty old.
I'm getting old, but I've heard about other fitters that will only go so far to accommodate somebody's either ailments or age.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like they only want to fit racers or something.
Yeah. And anybody that wants to cookie cutter that sort of thing, it's so important that the person takes the time. I don't care if it's me or somebody else, but make sure they're taking the time to talk to you and ask what your goals are. What hurts? What are your past injuries?
Yeah.
Where do you like to ride? What do you want to ride that you can't? Those sorts of things. And maybe the person is really old and just says, I just want to ride the bike loop, but my neck and back hurt. Well, I've seen some people come that have had fits and they're like, well, this is, where they put me. And I said, did you tell them? And he said, yeah, there's some.
So I don't want the right fit. I want the right fit for me.
Yes,
exactly right.
And me is different in every single person. And
Exactly
actually,
right.
and we talked about this earlier,
Yeah.
my different bikes, I probably need a fit for each one of those bikes.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to do some wonky things, some steer tube extenders and, high stems for somebody that just doesn't have that mobility anymore.
Right. So make that bike as comfortable as it can be for that person and how they're going to use it.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
All right. So we got into some big rabbit holes. We're talking about the differences and what you focus on mountain bikes.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
just bring us back to that.
So on mountain bikes, it sort of comes back to what we were just talking about, having that initial conversation. So I'm doing all those other things that we talked about as far as, body assessment, flexibility, past injuries, all that. But then the bigger part is, what trails do you like to ride? What are you having a hard time with? Are you washing the front tire? Or are you trying to do the waterfall on Milagrosa?
Right.
What are your goals? And then, we'll take a look at the bike, see how the current bike fits. I have a couple times said, this bike doesn't fit you, but we're going to do our best here.
Right.
Sometimes that's what the budget allows. Other times they're like, well, man, I had no idea it fit. Let's talk about, what might work a little better.
Right.
Because not only does fit.
And they can always sell it on consignment if they buy a new bike.
Yes.
If it's a good bike.
Yeah.
Sure.
At our shop.
At your shop.
Yeah.
But, it's not only. So sometimes we'll talk about, these are your goals, but you ride, 110 travel, cross country bike, and you want to start doing Milagrosa and some of the more aggressive upper 50.
It can work, but it's rough.
It's called underbiking. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Get with it.
I used to ride Milagrosa on my cross country
You guys are
hardtail.
talking about riding gravel bikes on Honeybee, so I think you guys are guilty of it.
Totally.
Bit,
Sure.
maybe.
But that's that's the challenge, right?
Yes.
Nonetheless, it's a longer conversation. And the most important part of the fit is the conversation, really understanding what they need.
Right.
And trying to address that. And that's also, but there's some ambiguity there where, we can have this long conversation. They say, well, this is what I want to do. And they've got maybe a farther distance to go which is, in skills or
Yes.
whatever else.
Yes.
We have friends of the shop and know people that, I've sent to for lessons.
Right.
In some cases, if we have time at the end of the fit, we've got a loading dock in the back and we'll practice doing, manuals and drops off it. And it just to talk about that reach. And what's cool about that is we can try a couple different stems of different lengths
Right.
Right here at the shop and see what that difference is.
Right.
Which is pretty cool. So, at the end of the day, the difference in a mountain fit, it's profound because you're not only just trying to find that ideal position for somebody that maximizes their power and their comfort, but also their performance and the handling performance, because you're not really worried too much about handling performance. You're not going through cones on a road bike or a tri bike. But you certainly are. I mean,
on a mountain bike.
Baby heads and
and boulders
and boulders
giant,
and
Cactus.
rocks and roots and
Sometimes
cactus.
animals.
Gila monsters.
Got a bunny hop snakes once in a while.
Oh yeah, nighthawks.
Oh my
I
God.
bunny hopped a nighthawk.
Yeah, we've taken out a couple nighthawks. It's sad.
Yeah, they
sit in the trail.
Yeah, we should probably tell people if you ride at
Yeah.
night, at least in southern Arizona,
Yeah.
they sit in the trail, and then when you come up, you surprise them, and then they go to take off, and hopefully they take off the right way, and if they take off the wrong way, they can run right into you accidentally. What about one of the things I've been noticing or been paying attention to or I'm interested in is the brake lever angle.
We're both laughing because there's no answer to that.
Yeah. There's some questions that get asked that are just opinion.
Yeah.
And there's no
so
right
is
or
it not supposed to be like
that's the general
rule is you want the least amount of
tendon deflection.
Wrist bend.
Tendon. Think about your tendons.
Yeah.
So that's really just a injury avoidance and give you power.
Okay.
And so that, if it's curved and you're pulling, your tendons are rubbing more, you're going to have more injury and stuff.
But sometimes it also depends on like when I was riding downhill and I really for a while was into the super loose, super steep to where
it's your angle on the bike. Yeah.
So exactly. So if my levers were too far over, I had to kind of curl my hands over the bars to get to them. I wanted them higher up so that I could get back behind the seat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like ergon grips, like people love ergon grips. They're great grips. They're spread the pressure so your hands don't fall asleep and you don't get pressure points.
I used to run them on my cross country bike.
Can't ride them. I can't ride them because when we do their technical rides, and we're going up and then straight back down again.
You're moving.
You're positioning so much. The paddle wants to dictate where your hands are. And so if I'm pointed straight down, like Tyler was talking about, my palms are in a different spot on the grip than they were when I was climbing.
my first trip to Angel Fire, I was running the GP ones or whatever. And I did a big drop and I didn't land it well. And both those paddles just slipped down. And now I got the paddles pointed straight down and I'm trying to make it through a rock garden. And
it's good gnarly. Your hands didn't slide off the front. Because usually you're using your palms to hold you up, like especially on steep descents.
Yes, no, that actually happened to me as well. So I'm like, all right, I'm done. I like took them off at the bottom and went to the shop there at Angel Fire and said, give me some different grips.
But here's the thing. Even though those grips aren't ideal for that situation, some people who have really sensitive hands and or some neuropathy, it's the best of...
Again, best fit for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you're talking to people about mountain fits, I wanted to know this, and we're here together with each other all the time, but you're pretty much interviewing them, not just body and how they feel, but where they ride, how they ride. All of that really factors into everything, that full on interview of figuring all that stuff out. So looking at a picture in a book and just trying to put them in that shape, it doesn't make any sense.
No, absolutely.
It doesn't address anything.
There's no two, mountain bikers are going to have the widest range of potential places that they want to be and can be.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I guarantee the fit for 2 months, because I'm going to do my very best to put this person in the right position that I think is good for them. But I'm
going
not
to go test it.
I'm not watching them on the trail.
Yeah.
And so there needs to be some communication there. And I always say, hey, come back. Let me know that it's awesome or it's not. Please. I mean, that's what I'm here for. This is your time.
Have you ever thought about offering like an ultra extreme fit for like $800 where you go out and ride with them and watch them and fit them on the trail?
$800 sounds a bit steep, but I think there might be something to that actually.
Honestly.
Booking the time to actually fit them in the shop and then take them out, that's actually a great idea.
We've done that with suspension.
I can imagine.
To go out on the trail with somebody and help them set up their suspension for the way they ride. So,
do you ever change or recommend a change to someone's dropper post? Recommend that they have maybe a dropper with more drop than what they have on their current bike?
It's pretty rare. Most dropper posts are going to give you as much as you need,
or as much as the bike can handle.
Yeah. It's pretty rare that, there's some of those cross country droppers that are the drop is so small that would frustrate me. But in many cases, those guys are on hardcore cross country race bikes, and that's what they want because they're super light.
Yeah. Sometimes they don't even want a dropper, depending on weight. It's their motivation. So
how old they are.
So here's something interesting about me, and it's weird. When droppers came out, I of course got one, but I started seeing all these people like swapping out a 150 for a 175 just so they could have more droppers showing.
Yeah.
And it's trippy. And I realized later that I don't use my dropper like a lot of people. And I don't know. I don't know how you use it. I only drop maybe 100 millimeters. And then I use my legs to brace.
I was just going to bring that up.
Yeah, brace against my saddle for cornering and for stability. Mm-hmm. And I have talked to other people. Not a lot of people do that. And it was weird to me that they don't and I do. Because I'm seeing people spend hundreds of dollars to get an extra 25 millimeters on their dropper exposed. Like it was almost like a looks thing. Right. So they had less of the stanchion or more of the stanchion showing and less of the base. Yeah, exactly. And so I kind of thought it was silly. And then I've been talking to friends and other racers, and some people slam that thing and they just get it totally out of the way.
Right.
I don't have stability in my knees to do that. And so if I do that, you're
in trouble.
I'm all over the place. And so I always have it almost halfway down, and then it's leaning against my legs.
So I was a late adopter, very late adopter to dropper posts, and I would pinch the seat constantly. And that's how I maneuvered the bike really like with my hips as much as I did with the rest of myself.
Yeah. It helps.
And then I went and got some lessons from Tara at Homegrown, and we've got a good relationship with Homegrown.
Yeah.
Went to a couple of their clinics and adopted the dropper post, and I no longer use that technique. Yeah. And now I'm moving the bike.
Yeah.
I think probably what most people do now.
Yeah.
And it has significantly, for me anyways, it has significantly increased my skills. Not that my skills are very good. We talked about that in the last podcast. I'm an intermediate rider at best, but
everybody learns different things. Yeah. I've often wondered. So
can I interject real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, something that I was thinking about as you were saying that, I think you guys are talking about different situations. I think you're talking about regular cornering, fast, high speed, through a trail.
Yep.
And I think you're talking about gem trail, something technical, maybe a little slower, where you've got to kind of be bracing against the bike sometimes.
Yes, and I do like Honeybee. I'll drop my dropper only like a little bit to go, and I'll stay seated and rail around the corners. It lowers my center of gravity, and I get around corners faster.
Yeah.
But in technical terrain, I think also it has to do with like your stature. So like I have short legs.
Right.
And so I don't really go much lower, even if I drop the saddle. My legs are so short.
Dane's 4'11", just in case anyone wondered.
God, I wish. I love short people. But so I don't know if it has to do with that. It has to do with drops. Like I learned, all my downhilling and my technical riding was before. I learned before droppers. Right. Yeah. And so, I see this new generation of people that have all these tools that I never had, and they're learning so fast.
Oh, man, back in the old days, we'd wear holes through our shorts.
Oh, yeah.
Because we'd have, the seat on your chest.
Yeah, the steep.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So self-dropping droppers.
So
you don't have to push them down.
Uh-huh.
You push a button, it drops on its own.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a couple companies that have them out.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see more of them this year. What do you think?
I don't know if it's necessary. So I always balance, I want to have a podcast where we talk about things that are dumb.
Let's do it.
and things that
we
work.
could probably have a whole year of podcasts with things about things that are dumb.
And so some stuff comes out, and like there's an add-on now that just tilts your seat.
I've seen that.
And I'll tell you that actually getting back to the grips and the downhill and that support when you're at a certain angle, I can see the usefulness in that. But it's not very hard for me to just push my saddle down. Like, you know, I like the wireless better than the
wireless
dropping.
is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, because
love it.
It's because you're a wrench too, and you're working on bikes.
Well, it's faster.
Yeah.
So the time and effort it takes to push that lever, which doesn't seem like much, is huge compared to just tapping a button.
And you're right, the maintenance is low.
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But it's like,
yeah,
it's like 4 times as expensive though.
Yes.
I mean, a reverb's like $800.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy
by far. There's a couple other ones out there. That
KS has got one that just came out. I saw.
Yeah. KS.
I think it's around 600.
TransX has one.
Shit.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind checking. It's budget, but it's still like 600.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so.
You know what though? If I could choose electronic shifting versus the electronic post, I'll take the post.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
So I take the shifting.
I mean, I like the shifting. Don't get me wrong, but the post, the difference in like I use that post twice as often with the electric shifting.
Yeah.
As I
got you.
with the
electric post versus
actuation.
Acoustic.
Yeah.
You know what I like about the wireless droppers from a sales standpoint when we're selling stuff? That is the perfect dropper for a cross country racer because you can take it out and put in a regular, depending on the course, and there's no.
Or if you have to ship your bike.
Yeah. Oh, well, but think about you get to the race course. Maybe you're traveling and you've never ridden it before. You get there, you do a pre-ride, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to need a dropper. I can drop a pound off this bike, and you just stick in a new post and seat, and we've actually sold it that way, and it's just so convenient and easy to change. And I think cross country racers, it's a big advantage. And then they come to a trail in town. They race. Something here, and it's super rocky, and all of a sudden that
the dropper's
makes
valuable
sense.
again. Makes them faster.
Just the fact that you can just plop it in and out so easy. So
you got to get that price point down. I think it's too expensive for most people.
It is.
I think it'll come down in 10 years.
Let's talk about cross country race courses.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever race cross country back in the day?
Oh God, yeah.
They were pansy.
Oh yeah.
Now they're like
and
serious.
I was a downhiller at the time, so I was like
it was
the rougher
it was fire roads.
I was all for it. These guys today get some real trails.
Yeah,
which is pretty
They're
cool.
no shit.
In the UCIs, they're putting huge drops and stuff. I'm like, yes, that's
pretty
awesome. Yeah. Because I do like the
it.
crashes just as much as I like the successes.
Well, it's great that they not only have the stamina and the the cardiovascular ability to do it, but they've got the bike handling skills as well, which is that's great.
And that's a good separator because I remember there was a big time when a bunch of road cyclists would move over to mountain bikes and just go pin it and win it.
Those were the guys beating me back in the day.
Yeah, and
they didn't need the technical skills. The courses weren't hard.
They didn't. When I raced cross country, which was very short amount of time and not very well, I would get dropped on the climbs, and then I would just
smoke them on the
downhills. Yeah. But the actual net value was they would always beat me because no matter how fast I could go on the down,
you can't make up.
I couldn't make up the fact that they just wiped me out on the climbs. Yeah.
Okay, so back to mountain bike fits.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself recommending different pedals for folks?
Absolutely.
Oh, wait. Sorry. To bridge onto that before. or just, I just want to get it out there so you add to it. How on earth can you do a mountain bike fit with flat pedals?
Yep. That was my next question.
Yes.
So you beat me to
all
it.
right. So put two twofers. That's a twofer.
So, one is with a lot of folks, I have to coach them where to put their feet.
Okay.
It depends on how long they've been riding. We had that conversation.
Well, where do they put? Maybe I'm wrong.
Center ball of foot, right above the pedal spindle. For most folks.
Okay. So similar to if you were clipped in.
Yes.
So it's not like you move your arch over the spindle or anything like that.
No, I find that because I've always been clipped in. I mean, I downhilled with clips. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, for
me, my foot's used to going in the same spot, and if I try and ride flats, my feet will move forward a little bit because I'm not the BMXer I was when I was a little kid.
Right.
And so when I get in the air, I like to, a little something
whip.
sometimes.
Yeah.
If I do that on flats, I am not staying connected to the bike. I've got very poor flat skills. But the point is, everything is the same, except that somebody who rides flats is generally going to have a lower heel.
Okay.
Than somebody who rides clips.
They're going to have a lower heel because they don't have the actual cleat raising their foot away from the pedal. Is that what you mean?
No, a cross country shoe is going to be stiffer.
I got you.
You're going to have less flex in the shoe.
I got you.
It's more predictable as to where it is, sort of subconsciously, mentally.
Yep.
And so you can kind of optimize that pedal stroke, having slightly higher heel, more similar to a road cyclist might.
Yep.
Versus, if you watch people, you watch a downhiller, on flat pedals, if they're not pedaling, their feet are pretty flat in many cases. And then the heel will come up to brace, for jumps. And I mean, their feet are all over the place, but it's generally on the same spot on the pedal.
Yeah. Right.
So, that was Dane's.
Mine hang off the pedal. So it's weird. I find, cause I ride flats, often I will, especially in a race or practice, I'll have my foot will end up off of it's bumpiness, I think, is causing it.
To the outside of the pedal?
But it'll hang off a little bit. And sometimes I have to consciously move it back on. And I've actually broken pins off of my bikes because my knees force my feet to move. They pivot as I pedal, so as I rotate. And so, okay, sorry. I just want to get that out because I wanted to talk.
Right. Which reminds. So, what was the original question?
I had flats in mind when I asked the question. Do you?
Different pedals.
Different pedals. Yeah,
different pedals for different people.
Flat pedals.
Absolutely. So it depends on where they are in their mountain bike, exploration.
Yep.
Super new people, I think flats are awesome. It depends on what you're getting into. So if it's a kid getting into cross-country racing, I'd say jump on clips as soon as you can. It's just going to be more efficient. But if your goal is to do more challenging terrain, being on flats, there's been many times where I wish I was on flats.
Saved you.
It's harder to get off that bike. And I've been doing it for so long. I'm quick to get out of those clips, but not quick enough sometimes. The size of the pedal can sometimes make a big difference for some people, just the size of a flat. Mm-hmm. If you want power, there's different options, whether it's cranks. If you're doing clips, that's a lot easier. Garmin's got a great power pedal. For clips, I have different preferences. So, Shimano's been one of the most solid pedals out there forever. SPD. I'm a Crank Brothers guy all day long.
Me too.
Egg beaters, because if I jump and do my little flourish in the air, those SPDs don't give me enough float.
And I need the float too, but it actually hurts my knees. The SPDs lock my knees in there.
Yeah,
so I have more movement in the Crank Brothers.
That's exactly right. And we do the same thing on the road bikes. So, and sort of the same thing, the Shimano pedals are great. They've been around forever, but they don't allow your feet to move as much as some people need.
Yep.
And if you have any knee issues, getting on the Speedplay pedals is just awesome. It feels like ice skates when you're first on them because you've got so much float, but it's so much easier on your knees.
So Speedplay's got more float than the Crank Brothers do.
Oh yeah.
Well, this is a road pedal.
Road
pedal. Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of the road equivalent.
Right on.
Sort of. So yeah, that's about it. So it depends on if a person has knee issues. It depends on if they're trying new things or not. It depends on if they want to be as efficient as possible. If they've got a lot of foot pain and they're having issues with their feet, sometimes I'll counsel them to get into a clip.
Right.
Because being clipped in, gets you a rigid sole, and suddenly your feet don't have to sort of grab the pedals.
And you can optimize the pedal stroke, I think, better and more consistently. If you're clipped in, you know exactly where the foot's going to be always.
Yep.
Yeah. I can imagine for knee issues that's really valuable because again, I have knee issues and I ride flats, and if I get my foot on a cross-country ride out of position, I'll feel it, and it doesn't happen right away, and I may not realize it, but then my knee will start hurting. And so the clip-in would keep that from happening.
But then you'd be an interesting person to fit, because then I'd be looking at, I'd probably, and as a fitter, I'll say this, I tend to favor the high side, just because, having been in the PT clinic and looked at, where we've got the most leverage, what's the easiest on the knees.
So you favor having the seat higher. So what's
than
the
what
what's
I've
the
seen
angle?
some other
What's the
fitters do.
goniometer angle you're looking for? Like, what's the range?
I've
heard 35 is kind of like the midpoint.
Yeah, kind of. It depends on how consistent a person's pedal stroke is, because I'll be watching them and sometimes they'll drop their heels, sometimes they'll have
scoop.
a little higher. Some people do the whole, kind of. I don't have a word for it.
I call it scooping. But
scooping.
Yeah.
I like it.
So it really depends on a lot of things and how consistent they are. I tend to, if you're looking at the Guayamber, and it's funny because I don't remember the exact number on it, but the bike fitting specific ones have kind of this little blue range.
They have the range
that's kind of ideal. And I tend to end up sort of at the higher end of it, still within the healthy range. Okay. But what that does is it tends to take some pressure off your knees. However, which is great.
Like your hips, right?
Well, if I see rocking hips, that's a sign that you're too high.
Okay.
And your leg angle could still be correct because you're lifting your heels, but you're because when you stop pedaling, everything changes a little bit.
Yep.
But then you feel it when you're riding, and you may rock your hips to compensate. So then that would be a sign that maybe your seat's too high. But in Dane's case, the challenge is with mountain bikers. So that's fine for road cyclists. With a mountain biker, you get the seat too high, the bike doesn't handle well. Mm-hmm. You can't move the bike around below you well. So it's a real fine line, especially with the cross-country riders, to get that optimal power and knee health, height,
and balance that with bike maneuver.
Still be able to maneuver. And what I tell some people is I'll say, this is how I do it on my bike. I have my bike set at the optimal seat height to give me power. And then on regular trails that are even just a little bit bumpy, like even 50-year, I'll drop that seat, maybe half a centimeter or something, maybe a full centimeter, then I can move and play over the bike. But as soon as I hit that hill, it's a perfect height to give me the most power to get up there.
Yeah. Yeah. I find that when I'm climbing is when I want my seat the highest. So for sure. So
interesting. All right. I got some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
And then I think we'll close out.
All right.
What saddle, and focus on mountain bikes, do you find yourself recommending the most?
Ergon.
Is there a specific Ergon saddle?
SM Pro.
SM Pro.
They've got a couple different price points. One with standard rails, one with carbon rails. Or their Enduro is even lighter, and that's a really nice saddle. I've had probably more success with their saddles as far as number of people over the last couple of years than almost any other. Am I on it right now? No. I'm on a Cro-Mag. I've got their sort of heavier, having a brain fart, but
Enduro-y?
Leather.
Oh, leather.
Enduro-y.
Yeah.
And so it's slicker. It allows me to, and it's fuller through the nose.
Right.
So I can really kind of move and squirm over the bike and kind of position it as we were kind of talking against different legs, to get what I want out of the saddle.
Is it full leather, like a Brook saddle, or
I can show it to you. It's not a.
It's slick. It's leathery.
Okay,
it's leathery.
I used to ride Brook saddles, and that's what I loved about it. So you could slide all over. You didn't stick to the saddle,
and that's how this is. Yeah.
Okay,
it's not that soft kind of leather, black soft leather. It's like slick, like leather seats in your car leather.
Right on.
So it's a texture.
But again, bike fit for you, not bike fit. Right.
Well,
so you recommend Ergon to a lot of people, but you don't. It doesn't work for you.
Well, and when I'm fitting somebody, I'll pull out my 6 best guesses, and I'll have them go through each saddle and tell me what they like about it. Is it better or worse than the last one? And then we'll go back, to the 2 most favorite, go back and forth between those, and then decide on that. And I'll say, hey, if sometimes the saddle that you ride in the shop doesn't feel the same way out on the trail.
Yep.
So as long as, they haven't crashed it, it's in new resellable condition, we'll keep swapping them out until we find one that works for them. But to answer your question, the Ergons have been probably the best. Having said that, we've got a guy working at the shop who races cross country, and I just put him on Shimano's ultralight road saddle on his cross country bike.
Interesting.
Because it's featherweight and it's still really comfortable. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. Just because it's a mountain bike saddle or a road bike saddle, I don't know if Tyler probably agree with me. Like some of the myths are you don't have to spend more money. You don't have to spend a ton of money on a saddle. You just got to find the right saddle.
Right.
So the budget isn't always what you should use to dictate.
Oh no.
And if you find one that's comfortable and it costs more, spend the money, it's your butt, and it's your comfort.
Well, not only that, a saddle can last you through multiple bikes.
Yeah. But I've seen people come in and they kind of like, what's the most expensive saddle? Like they're buying thinking that expense is going to cause comfort, and that's not the case.
Nope.
So
that's good to know. Okay. How about grips?
For mountain?
Yep.
It really depends on the person. I talk to some people who really like small grips. Small grips drive me nuts.
Yeah.
And they're hard on your hands, but for some reason, some people just like them. And if they're not bothered by that, I say, just go for it. Me, I like the ESIs, the foamy grips.
Yeah.
And I like the big ones.
I've got the mega fat grips.
Right?
You get the super chunky?
They're like this thick.
Extra chunky.
Yeah,
I don't think they're made by... I have some of the ESI.
Do you have
ones.
the wolf tooth ones?
Wolf tooth.
Yeah.
And it's like
they have
quadruple, extra large. It's like,
aren't those great?
I always joke about why that feels comfortable to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you pick up on the joke?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
I don't know what you're insinuating. Can you explain that to me?
No, I don't get it.
Hey, you got any final thoughts for our listeners?
You know what? Final thoughts would just be, it's so important. If you're going to go out and spend $2,000, $4,000, $8,000, or $14,000 on a bike, to not go and spend a couple $100 on a bike fit is ridiculous, because you're leaving so much comfort and or power or anything else on the table. I mean, I totally understand budgets, but to spend so much on an awesome bicycle, no matter what it is, you know, it's awesome because it's yours and it gets you out there and it gets you out on the trail or the road. But to the number of people that I fit that have been doing it for years and then finally had some sort of ailment, and then I fit them and they go, oh,
this solved my problem.
I had no idea I could be this happy on a bike. It's like, dude, you could have been this happy for years. My parents were awesome. I just had fantastic parents. And I was so lucky that they took the time to give me that Christmas present of a fit. Yeah. And you know, I was lucky to you know, then realize the value of it and kind of pay attention to it. But that would be my last thought is just, you know, cycling is beautiful. Bikes are beautiful. You know, our goal here is just 100% to keep people smiling and happy on their bikes. And whether that's optimizing your suspension, making your bike fit for you, or just have your chain not rattle, you know, like all those things matter.
So I had one last thing to bring up that we didn't really touch on, but one thing that we've noticed, Tyler and I both, is the lack of mountain bikers getting fit.
Yeah.
You know,
it's changing fast.
Well, it is, but
it's because of our podcast.
It's true. We did this. But I see that, you know, mountain bikers, I think, and this is just my opinion, I think they get on a bike, they're self-supporting. They have to fix their bike in the middle of nowhere. They're very independent. You know, road cyclists for years have been getting fit, and they want that.
And they're bougie, and they need help all the time.
Yeah.
I know.
Bunch of pansies. No, that's not true. But anyway, the mountain bikers are so used to adjusting everything and doing everything themselves, and the fit is so dynamic and dependent on their style and their environment, the trails, like Tyler was talking about. It's not just a set size that I think it's been kind of not really.
It's not in the forefront of their mind.
Not only that, but it's not been presented to them as something that they really should think about. It's kind of like, I'll just do it myself. I know how to set my saddle. I know what I want. I'll just take the measurements off my other bike.
Or the length of the stem.
The length.
What a difference that makes.
Yeah, and well, not only that, but on a mountain bike fit, the length of the stem may not be the biggest factor.
Right.
You know, it may be something else. You know, we talk about reach and stack and all these different numbers on the bike, but really what mountain bikers need is somebody to look at them and how they're going to use the bike and how they want to use the bike and help them get the most out of that bike fit. And that's been kind of ignored. And that's one of the things I love about Tyler is he's got all this experience and knowledge and he brings that to the table. And so when he's talking to somebody on a mountain bike fit, they are getting so much more than if they go in and talk to just kind of a normal road fitter.
Right.
And that's I think, changing things. We are seeing a difference because the word is getting out and people keep talking about it.
So Tyler is the mountain bike fit guru.
He is.
Yeah. We got a suspension guru and a mountain bike fit guru. That's awesome.
The truth. So.
Well, hey, I've always heard that if you want to make everyone happy, sell ice cream.
Yes.
I kind of feel like maybe selling bikes is the same thing.
It's a passion.
Because everyone that comes in here seems like they're smiling for the most part.
Dude, I don't know what just reminded me of this, but when I was a little kid, like 6, I'd flip my bike upside down, and we'd turn.
And throw
pedals.
rocks.
No, we'd turn the pedals, and we called it ice cream. I don't know why
really?
we were like ice cream. Who wants some ice cream?
Man, we used to get the wheels spinning, and then we would put rocks on the wheel and just see how far.
I'm going to do that when I get home tonight.
Yeah. I think I will too. Yeah, teach my son at least. So.
Tyler, it's been great talking with you.
You guys too.
If folks want to reach out to you, they can get you through Guru Bikes, and we'll have all the links in the show notes and everything. Yeah. If you're not in Tucson, and we do have an international 30 countries now, do you have an international audience?
Yeah.
So I am sure that there is a bike fitter in your local area. So
or I've had people fly in.
Yes.
So if they want to make arrangements, they can always contact the shop. They can ship their bike here. We'll build it. In some cases, we can pick them up from the airport. People do fly in.
And
fits.
while you're here, we've got some badass riding.
Yes.
Both for roads and for mountain biking. So,
absolutely.
And Sedona's not that far away, which is like on a lot of people's, bucket list. So
Tucson should be on the bucket list. There's
Absolutely.
so much good riding.
Mount Graham now.
Mount Graham.
Yeah. Have you heard our episode on Mount Graham?
I haven't heard the episode.
You should go listen to it. And,
all right.
and we've got Nat from SDMB.
SDMB.
So I've had so many SDs in my head. SDMB, and we have a whole episode about what they do. What they call the graham cracker, right? Like a lemon drop, and it's 6,300 feet of.
It was amazing.
Descending out there. Have you ridden it yet?
Oh yeah. We went out and did it with just a big group of people, and I loved it. Like Arcadia, we did Helio to Arcadia, and then Arcadia down to. You have to do a slight climb to go to Ladybug and out Ladybug.
Yep, so, and then you come down to Angles Orchard.
Yep, yeah.
Yeah, we have a cabin on Mount Graham.
I know.
Oh, we're going.
We're exploiting that right there. So.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, hey, this has been great. I'm sure we'll talk again.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for spending some time with us, man.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you. Hey.
See, that wasn't hard.
I stress. I still stress.
Just BSing.
But you're right.
I saw your tension at the beginning, but I saw it melt away.
Yeah,
You got
melt
into it.
away.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah, I still didn't even. In fact, I'll read this to you just so you're aware of it.
Yeah.
This is really good. And I meant to read it, but it didn't come up, and that's fine. But so this is second edition Bike Fit by Filbert. I love it. See, that would be a good laugh. So he talks about the different types of fit. Individualized fit, static. Uses plumb bob, basically a piece of string with a weight at the end, used to find vertical positions. And
hey, what's up? This is Josh from the Mountain Cog Podcast. You got questions, comments, or feedback? Well, we'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email. You can send it to mountaincog@gmail.com. Digging the show? There's a couple things you could do to help us out. First, you could tell your friends about Mountain Cog. And also, it would be great if you'd give us a good rating and review over at Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen. We appreciate y'all. Go ride, keep the rubber side down.